Hi students, I know that you have taken a very good break after your theory examination and this is the time to start up with your practical examination preparation. So you all know that this time the university has planned a OSCE method for your practical examination, that is objective structured clinical examination, which is a new one. And I'm sure that every college might have trained you or given a practice session of this OSCE method. So here we will have a quick review of what is OSCE and how the examination is conducted in Kerala University of Health Science, and we will have a model of cognitive skill station. Okay, we'll move on to the video. So the general instruction here, the examinations consist of 3 main sessions. The first session is of 30 minutes, which is allotted for writing session, that is cognitive skill station, which we'll be seeing in detail in this video. So what is happening in the cognitive skill station is the students are asked to prepare a care plan based on a given case scenario. So you will be given with a scenario and you have to write a care plan based on the scenario. The students are advised to arrange themselves in the examination hall and write the primary part of the exam. So as like a theory examination, you will be sitting in a classroom and they will give a case scenario and you have to make a care plan. And the next station is of different types, that is there is 2 procedure skill station, that is 2A and 2B. So after your cognitive skill station, you will be moving on to a procedure skill station. There are 2 procedure skill stations. So one will be witnessed by the external faculty and the other will be guided by the internal faculty. So each carries 20 marks. And this procedure skill station is an objective type. So the external or the internal will have a observation checklist. So they will just observe your procedure skill and they will score you according to the skill you have. The next station is interpretive skill station. So you will be given 5 minutes for this interpretation skill station. So according to the scenario, you will be given an interpretation. For example, if it is a medical nursing, you will be given a pharmacology drug interpretation or a lab values, how to interpret and what is the normal values of the lab investigations. Or sometimes they will give instrument, they will ask you to identify in case of surgical nursing. So these are all the interpretation skill station. Of course, there are different types, like they may ask you to calculate IV fluid drip factor. So there are different types of interpretation which is done in 5 minutes, okay, which carries 5 marks. So this is a very easy station where you can score a complete 5 marks. The next station is communication skill station, that is you will prepare a health education material which is given for 10 minutes. So within that 10 minutes you have to prepare health education material you need to prepare and you have to present it for 5 minutes. So you will prepare either flashcards or your chart according to the topic given and you have to present it for 5 minutes. So this also carries 5 marks. So this is how the stations have been divided and you will be rotated every 15 minutes to each stations. So when you complete all these stations, you are finishing your practical examination. So this is how the OSCE method of practical examination happens. So there are total 5 stations. One is a theory station where you will be sitting and writing a care plan. And the rest of the stations are 2 procedure stations, 1 interpretive station and 1 communication station. So we will move on to the cognitive skill station. That means you will be given a case scenario and you have to write a nursing care plan based on the scenario. So here the case scenario, it carries marks, total marks 10, and there is The total time is 30 minutes, the reading time is 5 minutes, and the writing time is 25 minutes. So what are the instructions here? In the scenario they have given is, read the scenario carefully. Identify the needs and problems of the patient. List down the priority nursing diagnosis and prepare a nursing care plan for 3 prioritized nursing diagnoses. So what is your main work here? So if it is a normal practical examination, you will collect history and you will write down all the data, and you will do a physical examination to identify the problem, and you will do basic vital signs to identify is there any problem with the vital signs, and you will identify the problems and needs, and you will write the care plan. So same like this, here the case scenario is given. So all the problems, lab values, investigations, and everything has been given already, and you need to identify the needs and problems of the patient, and you have to list down the prioritized nursing diagnosis, at least 5 diagnoses, and prepare a nursing care plan for 3 prioritized nursing diagnoses. So here I have given an example of case scenario. So this is an sample 1. So you will be given with different types of scenario according to your type of examination. So we'll see a medical case scenario here. Mrs. Bindu, 62 years old, admitted to the hospital on 12/8/2021 at 4 a.m. with the complaints of breathlessness, coughing, fatigue, disturbed sleep, tightness of chest. On admission, she was treated in emergency and kept on high Fowler's position with oxygen via face mask. Chest X-ray and routine blood tests done, doctors diagnosed her condition as COPD. So this is the scenario. And what else given? They have given past medical history. She had been diagnosed with COPD since 2 years and was well controlled using budesonide at 160 mg unsalumedrol aerosol. She has a history of allergic to penicillin. She is from middle class family with no hereditary diseases. She has a disturbed sleeping pattern because of her condition since 1 year. And the physical examination they have given already. At the time of admission, vital signs and physical examination findings were as follows. The temperature is 99.6 degree Fahrenheit. Blood pressure is 130 by 90 mmHg. Heart rate is 86 beats per minute. Respiratory rate 32 breaths per minute. SpO2 80%. She was started on oxygen with 2 liter via nasal cannula. She has generalized weakness. Chest auscultation reveals decreased breath sounds bilaterally and wheezing present. Coughing up small amount of thin clear sputum. So these are all the physical examination they have given already. So you no need to write actually a detailed physical examination because it's a case scenario. They have given the findings already. Investigations. Lab values. Fasting blood sugar is 110 mg per dl. Hemoglobin 16 gram per dl. WBC is 11,000 cubic meter. And neutrophil 60%, eosinophil 1 to 4%, ESR 20 mm/h, sodium 135 milliequivalent per liter, and potassium 3.8 milliequivalent per liter. The chest X-ray revealed a left-sided hilar opacity, and ABG was taken, and the results are pH 7.5, PaO2 75, and PaCO2 60. So, the treatment of the patient is injection ceftriaxone 1 gram IV and injection deriphyllin 75 mg IV BD, Budecort inhaler 2 puffs BD, nebulizer Asthalin, and injection Dexona 40 mg stat. So this is the case scenario. In the case scenario, they will give about the patient details, their chief complaints. Some cases they may list down the medical history, past or surgical past history, along with the physical examination, vital signs, investigations, and treatment. So this is how the complete case scenario will be. It may change according to the patient's condition or according to the tutor's preparation. So what is the student activity? So how the student should write the case scenario. So in your writing session, you have to read the complete scenario for 5 minutes and then you can start writing your care plan. So here they have specifically mentioned, or instructions are clearly given, that you need to identify needs and problem, prioritized nursing diagnosis you have to list, and you have to write the first 3 prioritized nursing care plan. Yes, so don't focus on writing the history very elaborately, or don't repeat whatever the physical examination given in your paper simply by wasting the time, because you have to focus your marks in the care plan. The student's activity, you have to write the biographical data, that is very important. You have to write name, age, sex. Here I have given as an example, date of admission, time of admission. So you have to split the paragraph into points like this, and you have to write diagnosis. This is a very, very important thing. So whether the student identified the diagnosis or not, they will check it. By this list, you can write diagnosis. And if it is a surgical patient, you can write surgery done on which date. Okay. So what surgery, when it is done, by if it is given like time and date and post-operative date, you have to write all those things. Here it is a medical care plan, so I am writing only the diagnosis. If it is surgical, you have to write what is the surgery done, when it is done, which post-operative is the patient. So the diagnosis here, it is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The next is chief complaints. So you can take out the list given in the paragraph as well as in the physical examination findings, or you can take it from the history. So upon admission, the patient complains of, what are all the things the patient complained? From that paragraph I have listed here: febrile, breathlessness, cough, fatigue, disturbed sleep, and tightness of chest. So these are all the chief complaints of the patient, because we have to identify the needs and problems. So we need chief complaints here. The next is past medical history. You can give a very short history from the paragraph if you get time. She had been diagnosed with COPD since 2 years and was well controlled using the medicines. She has a history of allergic to penicillin. And family history from middle class. She is from middle class family with no familial hereditary diseases. So now this is the place where, as per the instructions, you have to identify needs and problems. So you can write straight away, list down the needs and problems what I have given in a different colors. Here I have given it like this because, so from where I got this hyperthermia, to help you understand that I have written like temperature 99.6 and I have written the hypothermia. So usually the needs and problems are identified with the help of the chief complaints, from the vital signs, and from the physical examination findings, and also from the lab values. So you can take all these things and you can identify the needs and the problems. Okay, so from the chief complaints, from the vitals, from the physical examination findings, and from the lab values. So here I have given some examples like temperature 99.6. So it indicates the patient is having a problem called hyperthermia. And the blood pressure is slightly higher, so we can mention it like mild hypertension. The respiratory rate is high, the patient is tachypneic. SpO2 is 80%, so it indicates, you can add here the SpO2 is 80% and also the ABG shows the PaO2 is less. So patient has hypoxia. So started on O2, patient says or complains of generalized weakness, which I got it, cough, these two I got it from the history or the main paragraph. And the decreased bowel sounds like constipation, disturbed sleeping pattern, that is insomnia, these are all physical examination findings. And WBC and neutrophils counts are elevated, which represents infection or inflammatory reaction. So this I got it from the lab values. So you have to look into the needs and problems in the paragraph where they are explaining the chief complaints, and you can look into the vital signs, physical examination and the lab investigations. So you have list of problems here like hyperthermia, patient is mild hypertension, tachypneic, hypoxia, patient is having fatigue, cough, constipation, insomnia, and of course there is a sign of infection. So here in this you have to identify which needs priority. So the first thing is airway, so tachypneic, hypoxic, so these are all cough, so these are all the first priority you should give. And of course if there is pain, of course pain also comes next. And here actually there is no pain, but the patient is having temperature, which is the next priority. So and then you can go down like as per the patient's condition. So you can identify what is the priority in this list down problems, and then you will write the nursing diagnosis. So the prioritized nursing diagnosis here I have given like ineffective airway clearance related to increased production of secretions or retained secretions as evidenced by abnormal breath sounds. So here the patient, they have given physical examination findings, wheezing is present and patient is complaining of cough. So we can say it like increased production of secretions as evidenced by abnormal breath sounds and cough. And the next is impaired gas exchange because SpO2 is low related to altered oxygen supply, obstruction of airways by secretions as evidenced by breathing difficulty, respiratory rate is 36 breaths per minute and SpO2 is 80%. So these are all you get it from the physical examination findings. And the next is hyperthermia related to inflammatory process as evidenced by increased body temperature of 99.6 degree Fahrenheit or increased WBC counts. You can write all these things. And the next is fatigue related to imbalance between oxygen supply and demand. So the patient is hypoxic, so that is the reason why the patient is having fatigue. Fatigue related to imbalance between oxygen supply and demand as evidenced by SpO2 80% or respiratory rate 36 breaths per minute. So constipation related to lack of activity as evidenced by decreased bowel sounds. Insomnia related to hypoxia or dyspnea as evidenced by dyspnea or with respiratory rate 36 breaths per minute. Or you can say if the case scenario says patient verbalizes insomnia, patient verbalizes constipation, patient verbalizes pain score of 6. So like that it comes, you can mention that in the nursing diagnosis. So I have listed of around 6 nursing diagnoses according to my priority. And then you will be writing first 3 prioritized care plan. So I have given here the example of first 3. That is, the first one is what is the diagnosis? Ineffective airway clearance related to increased production of secretions as evidenced by abnormal breath sounds, that is wheezing and cough. So assessment is the first column you will be writing. Here I cannot make it into the column, so I am writing here separately. So you have to write in the first column the assessment, and you will be writing subjective data and objective data. Here there is no subject, there is no patient, it's a case scenario, so there is no subject necessary for subjective data. Okay, so you can straight away write the objective data. The chest auscultation reveals decreased breath sound bilaterally, wheezing present, coughing up small amounts of thin clear sputum. So everything I have taken from the scenario. Okay, so assessment column you can write objective data. Subjective data, if the scenario says the patient complained of or the patient says, so those kind of things they have given in the scenario, you can write it. Otherwise you can write objective data. No need for subjective data because there is no subject here. And the next is interventions and rational. There is no need for implementation because the patient is not here, so we are not giving any care. So implementation is not necessary. So interventions and rational, both of them are having score. So interventions can be divided as assessment intervention, therapeutic intervention, and educational interventions. So first intervention has to be assessment intervention. Here the patient has ineffective airway clearance. So the assess and monitor respiration and breath sounds. And the rationale behind it is establish a baseline, monitor vitals and SpO2. This helps in identification of patient status towards nursing care. The next therapeutic intervention, you have to write few therapeutic interventions, that is keep the patient in high Fowler's position. High Fowler's helps in better expansion of the lungs. Administer oxygen as per doctor's order but not more than 2 liters. We have already seen there that O2 2 liters by nasal cannula started. Oxygen helps to increase the saturation and reduce hypoxia. Increase fluid intake to 3000 ml per day within cardiac tolerance. So why we need to increase the fluid intake? It helps in hydration and to decrease the viscosity of the secretion so that it will come out easily. Okay, these are all the therapeutic interventions. And the educative intervention, of course you have to add at least one educative interventions to teach the patient. So here we will demonstrate effective coughing and deep breathing techniques. Encourage patient to turn effectively in bed every 2 hours. So what is the rationale behind it? Helps maximize the ventilation, that is coughing and deep breathing, and turning in the bed. That movement mobilizes the secretion to facilitate clearing the airway. So here usually in our nursing care plan we write assessment, interventions, rationale, implementation and evaluation. Here in assessment there is no subject, so you will not be writing subjective data. You will write intervention, rationale, and then implementation is not applicable here because there is no patient here. Instead of evaluation, you will be writing it as expected outcome. So expected outcome is the right terminology for evaluation, because you are just expecting the outcome because you are not evaluating the patient because there is no patient here. So what is the expected outcome? So all the expected outcome will be like patient will in the future tense. Patient will maintain airway patency with breath sounds and improve airway clearance, effective coughing effectively and expectorate secretions. It means patient will maintain the airway with breath sounds and improve airway clearance, effective coughing and expectorate secretions. Effectively expectorate secretions. So the next care plan here, it is hyperthermia related to inflammatory process as evidenced by increased body temperature, that is 99.6 degree Fahrenheit. The objective data, that is assessment objective data, is temperature, WBC neutrophil count has been increased. The assessment intervention, you will monitor the temperature, heart rate, respiratory rate and fluid intake. So these are all helps in identifying the baseline data, and fluid resuscitation may be required to correct the dehydration if the patient has severe hyperthermia. What is the therapeutic intervention? Adjust and monitor environmental factors, because environmental factors plays a vital role. Eliminate excess clothing and covers. Exposing skin to room air decreases the warmth. Administer fluids and then give cold compress. Administer antipyretics. So these are all the therapeutic intervention. You have to write the rationale as per the intervention. The next is educative intervention. Of course, as I said, you are not supposed to forget to teach the patient something. Educate the patient to take more fluids. Educate the patient and family members about the signs and symptoms of hypothermia and dehydration. Okay, and what is the expected outcome here? The patient will maintain normal body temperature of 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. So you can make it very simple like this also. Patient will maintain normal body temperature of 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. The next prioritized nursing diagnosis: impaired gas exchange related to altered oxygen supply, obstruction of airway secretions as evidenced by breathing difficulty, respiratory rate and SpO2 80%. Sorry, actually this should come as a second nursing care plan and the hypothermia should come as a third one. The assessment is objective data. We have seen already the chest auscultation, wheezing, respiratory rate, SpO2 and the ABG with PaO2 75. So you can take down everything from the physical examination. You can write it here. And what is the assessment intervention? Assess, monitor respirations and breath sounds, monitor vitals and SpO2, assess and routinely monitor skin and mucous membrane color, because you have to check for the cyanosis. Cyanosis noted peripherally and centrally as a sign of hypoxemia. So you have to assess the sign of hypoxia. Therapeutic interventions: high Fowler's, oxygen, encourage expectoration of sputum, suction when needed. So you have to encourage the patient to bring out the secretions, or you can do suction if the patient cannot bring out the secretions. And educative intervention: encourage breathing and coughing techniques, and even you can add chest physiotherapy. So according to your idea, you can add therapeutic intervention how much if you want, like nebulizer, administered drugs, all those things can be added in the therapeutic interventions. Expected outcome: patient will demonstrate improved ventilation and adequate oxygenation by increase in the SpO2 saturations. That you can write it in simple as well, or you can write like this in detailed outcome. Patient will demonstrate improved ventilation and adequate oxygenation of tissues by ABG within patient's normal range and be free of symptoms of respiratory distress. So this is how you will write the care plan. So at the end of the care plan, if you get time, you can make a column and keep it ready like nurse's notes. Okay, so documentation is very, very important. After every station, whenever you do the procedure, you will be charting it in your nurse's notes. So you have to write or document the procedure, what you have done. So you can write the columns like this: date and time, procedure performed, and your signature column. So like you can mention like assessment and nursing care plan done. So if you are going to do a steam inhalation for this patient as a procedure in the next station, so you can write steam inhalation given as per doctor's order for 10 minutes. Patient was encouraged to cough out sputum. So you have to write in detail about the procedure, what you are demonstrated in the station. Okay, and the next station actually you are administered intramuscular injection. You have to document in the nurse's note like administered injection derifilin 75 milligram intramuscularly on right arm deltoid region as per the order. No signs of hematoma or any other discomfort noted. So you can write as an assessment also. And when you do give a health education, you can write like health education of patient and family given regarding the effective lifestyle management of COPD. So after every station, you will be writing the procedure performed as a documentation in the nurse's note. So when you get time, you can make this column in the cognitive skills station and keep it ready. Okay, and the interpretation, of course, you will list down what has to be interpreted in the examination paper. Clear? Hope you understood about this OSCE method of practical examination, especially cognitive skills station, as you all are very familiar to take straight away history and collect the history and write it as a nursing care plan. This is a different way where they will give case scenario and you have to identify what is the need and the problems, and you have to make a care plan. So here, don't waste your time. The important thing what I want to mention you is, don't waste your time by writing a very detailed history or chief complaints and all those things, and try to adapt this style so that you can focus on the care plan where you will score marks. Okay, and of course you should follow your college teachers instructions as well, and you can make a changes according to your instructions. Hope you understood, students. Don't miss out my other videos, like there is a video on CPR, intercostal chest drainage and cardiac assessment. Okay, and all these things will help you in your practical examination. Thank you.